Well guys, we experienced first failure of the tractor since I've had it. Got about 72 hours on it right now, and this strap that holds down the air cleaner busted loose. The metal piece that sits in this rubber strap just came loose out of the tie down there. So I noticed a really strange rattling noise at certain RPMs in the engine. It sounded like it was knocking, like the cylinders were knocking, or like it was running out of oil or something. It was just a real strange kind of noise, vibration. Only occurred at certain RPMs. So after I finished my last load of dirt loading up this fella's dump truck, popped the hood and just took a quick look under here, and I found this strap just hanging loose. So obviously it's supposed to tie down that air cleaner box. So what I'm going to do, this should be under warranty, so what I'm going to do is take that by the dealer, get a new one, and in the meantime I've gotten this bungee cord here, and I'm just going to use it to kind of tightly strap down this box here. There we go. That should solve the problem for the short term, and then we'll get a new strap in and get this replaced. So, well, wouldn't you know it, about 15 minutes after I put the bungee cord on here, I went to just check and make sure everything was secured, and the bungee cord had come loose. And what had happened is this piece right here was actually broken, just sheared right off. Look at that metal. I mean, it just completely failed, and there wasn't any real pressure on it. The box itself is sort of stuck, but it failed right here where it mounts onto the engine. I mean, this piece just absolutely came apart. Yeah, I mean, this is some pretty beefy metal. I mean, that's looks like 1/4 inch plate. It's just been formed, but looks like it's got a weak spot right there. Just absolutely sheared off and broke. Just completely failed. And it's not like it's supporting anything heavy. I mean, this is probably weighs, what, about 3 pounds? So just must have been vibrations. Just shook itself to death. Very odd. Very surprised by that. Well, hopefully you can see this bracket. The shadows are a little harsh here in the sun, but these are the 3 bolts to get the bracket off. And, washers on there. All right, there's the part. See where that metal just destroyed itself. I'm gonna try and weld that back together. But man, it's hard to believe that this thing just fell apart. All right, well, I just removed the bracket that attaches to the engine to give you a full idea of what this part looks like normally. Normally sits like that. The air cleaner sits in this little bowl, and the strap goes here and here on that little tab. See that up close? But you can just see where that metal has snapped. Well, I'm a little bit frustrated with John Deere right now. I put in a service request at my dealer to look at getting this bracket replaced under warranty, and they told me it would be 2.5 weeks minimum to have the tractor, and the clock doesn't start till I actually bring it down there, and they'll come pick it up for $100, or I can trailer it down there myself, but they won't give me a service date other than that it would take them at least 2.5 weeks to get this bracket replaced on the tractor, and I can't schedule a future date to bring it down so they can work on it, and they won't order the parts in advance. So I'm a little bit frustrated with that. I am going to try something here today to actually just remove the bracket. I'm going to take it down to their parts department and go see what they can do. But all right, well, I've got some decent news on the part. I went down and talked to the service manager at my dealer where I bought my tractor, and I showed him this part, and I said, hey, look, I really don't want to bring my whole tractor down here to get this part replaced. He looked at it and he said, you know what, I've never even seen that part break before. That's amazing. I was like, yeah, it looks like it's just some weak steel or something in there. So he agreed to go ahead and order the part for me, and it should be here on Monday. So that's about 5 or 6 days from now. So they didn't have it in Atlanta, otherwise it would have been here tomorrow. But anyway, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm going to get the new part in. He'll call me, I'll go down there, pick it up, and we'll just swap this out. In the meantime, I got some work to do this weekend, and I am going to be using the tractor. So what I'm going to do here, I've got 2 things I need to get welded. A friend of ours brought these by and needed some little bit of brazing work or welding work just to get these ties back on. So I was going to fix that for her for free, just as a favor, and we'll get that squared away. And so while I've got my equipment out, I'm actually going to weld this back up too, and get both these jobs done. So I'll take you along for that ride. We'll get this bracket in a temporary working spot, and should last me through the weekend, and then I'll get it replaced with the new piece come Monday of next week. So all right, let's go ahead and get this thing fixed. Okay, I'm just getting this part set up here on my welding table, and got it mostly aligned. I'm just trying to use these magnets to kind of roughly hold it in place. Okay, let's go ahead and get the welder set up here. I've got my C25 tank here. This is pure argon in this tank. And there we go. We've got about 1400 psi on the tank side. We'll go ahead and open that all the way up. And then I'm going to slowly open the regulator here. The valve's not open, it auto opens. I'll set this to about 15. It's cubic feet per hour, CFM, or liters per minute. Yeah, I think that's about right. Let's go ahead and turn the welder on. This is the Multimatic 200. So I'm using MIG steel. And let's go ahead and flip the power switch. Okay, input voltage 239. And what we're going to do here is adjust the material thickness, because I'm actually using this auto settings, and this is quarter plate. So let's go ahead and set it there. That's a 0.030 wire, so it's calling for 19 volts and a 310 wire feed. So let me go ahead and get my safety equipment on, and my mask, and we'll go ahead and put a tack weld down on this 1/4 inch plate. Okay, small tack right on the inside here. There we go. So that might have actually worked. You can see that's off a little bit, but that one's right on the money. Let's see if I can do this while I'm holding it without cutting my finger off there. I'll try a table clamp here and see if this will help hold it down while I'm trying to put a tack on it. Don't need much, just need a little bit of force on it. There it goes. That's got it level. I think what I'll do is put a little tack right on the side here. Right there. Yeah, get in there nice and deep. Okay. So I think we're good now. Just give it a little bit of down pressure while I'm finishing these welds. Get the sides first. Okay. All right, we'll do a little cut on the top here. Okay, it's pretty solid. Turn it over. Get in here a little bit. Okay, I think that might have got it. These welds actually look pretty clean. They're not that pretty, but they don't have to last very long. Just till this new part arrives, so we can clean them up a little bit. I think this is going to get me back in business here. So there's a good up close look right there. Big fat beads. Just trying to bond that metal back, get a nice deep penetration. I don't think that'll crack again. Alright, let's go ahead and get this reinstalled on the tractor and see how it goes. Let it cool off a little bit first. Okay, now we're going to weld this little planter thing up. Looks like the weld just busted off from right there. Can actually feel a little indentation. This would probably be a good job for brazing with my torch, but I think what I'm going to do is just try to MIG weld this first. Okay, so I turned the voltage down a little bit to 18 volts. Treating this as 1/8 steel, so let's see how this goes. Just real quick. I think that'll hold. I might just put a little tack on the other side of it. Oops. Yeah, it looks like it'll hold. It's a little messy. I think brazing would actually do a little bit better job. But that's on there good. I don't think it'll pop off. Let me get the other one. Okay, I think we've got 3 or 2 on this one. Let me just clean that up a little bit. All right, let's find the spot. There we go. Oops. I think that'll do it. There we go. Good as new. It's a little bit of cleaning. Okay. Well, that completes putting together these broken flower pots or whatever they are, and getting them back in brand new shape again. Can hardly tell. Okay, we've got our welded up part here. Looks pretty good. I think it'll be nice and strong, and that's the important part. And next Monday I'll have a replacement for this under warranty. But this will get me going for the meantime. So let's go ahead and get this threaded back through. Okay, so instead of a bungee cord here, I found one of these in the garage. It's sort of got a rubberized coating on the outside, but on the inside it's like a 12 gauge piece of wire. So I think this will be a little better than using a bungee cord. So let me try and get this attached. There it goes. Okay. Just there's a little bit of English on there. Okay. Get that hose cranked back on to the intake right there. Okay, so I've got them wrapped around there. So just doing a little J fold or J bend. And I think that's got it. That's nice and tight. And it's not going to come undone, and it's not going to wear like the bungee cord did. So I'm probably good to put as many hours on that as I need to, and then we'll replace that with the actual strap and the new bracket when it comes in next week. So that'll get me going. Whew, what a pain in the butt. Well, we've got it all back together now, so we can get this tractor back in service and keep doing some of our work in here. So I'm happy for that. I'm still pretty surprised that bracket broke. Would not have expected that to fail on this beast of a tractor, but it sure did. And I had an opportunity to interact with my John Deere dealership. Got to tell you, at first I was pretty disappointed. After I was under the impression that I needed to be, or they told me that I needed to take the whole tractor down there and leave it with them for about 2.5 to 3 weeks, which did not make me too happy. So I went down to the dealership today and talked with the sales service manager and showed him the bracket. He was like, yeah, I've never seen that before, but yeah, I'll get you one ordered and give you a call when it comes in. And so I'm going to go ahead and replace this when the new one comes in, and we'll be good to go. I do have another issue that I do want to take it to the dealership on. I've noticed some leaking in the cylinder, this cylinder on the other side, coming out right about here. And I see fluid on the wheel, and you can see it sort of blowing back into the frame here. So I do want to get that looked at under warranty. And I've also noticed on my backhoe there's that valve sticking. I think I've mentioned that in a previous video, but I think it's it should have been broken in by now, but it seems like it's sticking more than I've ever noticed it before. So all right, well, appreciate you tuning in, and hope this was an informative video for you, and hopefully your air cleaner bracket never breaks, but if it does, it should be a good reference video for you. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.